Today I'm checking out the Faster Master by Mastering the Mix. Now, this was developed in collaboration with David Guetta and Nicky Romero, and they do support it, as I've seen from the videos, and I wanted to test it out on just an example I cooked up using samples. Wanted to see what it's going to do. As you know, I'm really interested in the mastering solutions, keeping track of what's going to replace me one day. The plugin itself is quite simple to use. I did read the manual, as I always do, but it's quite simple to use, and I wanted to see what kind of result we could get by just quickly throwing it on the master and trying it out. So let's see what happens with this one. I'll just do what they actually recommend, play the part of the song that's the loudest, which is the only part of the song I have right here, and let's see what it does. Okay, I guess that this preset is closest to the kind of balance I'd really like in drum and bass, and whatever. We can also adjust something manually, so we can always use manual controls to move some of these EQ points. By the way, they do state that the EQ is designed in such a way not to introduce too much phase distortion or transient smearing, meaning that the impulse is not going to be as disturbed as it would be using a linear phase filters. I don't know how that's done, maybe a combination of those two, maybe some hybrid, but anyways, I'm not going to speculate. What I do know is what they wrote. So let's try that out. This is the preset we got. I'm just going to try to adjust it a tiny bit. Let's do that. What I thought initially was that this had something to do with the frequency spectrum. Usually, like when you look at something like this, so going from EQ to the transient setting, I just kept in my mind that like that was the next page, that this had something to do with the frequencies. So I was trying to move the point left and right, but that's not how it works. This is basically an envelope. So we are just controlling the attack. And yeah, just go up and down. That's all you can do. And I wanted to add new points, maybe to add more punch in the highs and less in the lows. And no, that's not how it works. So this is a simple transient designer from what I can see, and we can just go up and down. So more punch, less punch. This kept it unchanged. So it's not changing the transient response of our song at all. Yeah, so we could add more punch, less punch. You can bypass each one of these elements. You can also lock it in. So if you change the preset, it stays the way you set it up already, which I think is a nice addition to something that is meant to be really fast and just click, click, a couple of clicks away from a good result. I do like that. Okay, so I wouldn't really touch this as much, the stereo widening, maybe a little bit in the high end, basically. But it's just a tiny bit, a couple of dBs, not so much. Usually when I do my mixing, I take care of it. Somebody else's song could be in need of stereo enhancement. You always have to be careful when you're doing this stereo enhancement stuff that you are disturbing the balance in the mix. So all the elements that have more stereo in the sounds themselves, the elements that have more sides information, if you disturb this balance, those elements are going to appear louder because they have more sides. So if you boost everything that has more stereo, everything that had more stereo is going to be louder than everything that didn't. So, disturbing the balance in your mix. By how much? Really depends. But that is what it's happening. All in all, in the end, if it sounds good, it's good. Don't have to worry about it too much. It's nice to be aware of what's happening. And every time you do this, it's not always going to sound good because it's different, which is true for most of the things in audio. So let's go on to the next one. This is the limiter, and it has a drive. Basically, I wanted to check that out and see what that's going to be like. So I just want to check out what actual LUFS we are pushing out. I do like the result. The actual metering is nice. It's showing us with this little white pointer, like little white line, where the actual LUFS reading is approximately. And that's enough for me, honestly. It's a really nice graphics display of what it should be. I think it's really cool for somebody that might not be super proficient in what they're doing. It just says loud, so you click loud, and this is loud, and this is streaming, and this is streaming, and this is streaming. Okay, so it's enough. You just select one of these, and it just tries to push it there. That is cool. I like the result, and I like the bypass as well. So this is a level matched bypass. I like the EQ curve it's done. And I'm not crazy. Of course, I would refine it a tiny bit, but I do like the result. Imagine somebody who is already used to the song, that they're working on this for hours or days or months, depends person to person. So they've just finished and you're really used to your song. You don't know what's wrong anymore. It's cool that AI can actually give you a kind of, suggestion to what the balance should be. And you can do that in other plugins. I know that. But this is nice, easy to set up, easy to access, just one button. I think that the easy setup thing in Ozone is also really user friendly. I really think so. But this really deserves a mention. I like what it's done with the curve, and I like the result in the end. It was loud enough. It's cool for somebody who just wants to do this, just to play a song, let's say, before they send it off to mastering. They just wanted to do this so they could try it out in, a club or any kind of live environment. I think it's satisfactory as a result. I haven't tested this in Plugin Doctor to see what's happening with the filters or whatnot. This is a go. I would recommend this, like try this out. Now, the only thing I'm not sure about is the pricing. So let's see what the price is basically. So it's 60 euros approximately, 57.95, so 58 euros approximately. I would say this is a go. That's my verdict. If you hate my stupid glasses, say something in the comments. If you like the video, give it a like. If you're not subscribed, please do. It would help the channel. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check out the course. The link is going to be in the description. The mix is completely free thanks to 11.org, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.